Hello and welcome to this video. My name is David Thorne. I'm kind of guessing this is going to be a playlist, and it's going to be about Swift and UI table views, and essentially all about delegates and data sources, cells, did selects, this, that, and the other. Anything that I can think about that can go with a table view. But the first one that we're going to do is just going to create the basic table view with a storyboard, add the delegate and data source, add some cells, some items and stuff like that, and just get the basic stuff done. All right, and then we'll go on from there. So this one should be, I don't know, we're just going to get it done. So first things first we need to do is create a new project, and I'm going to create a Cocoa Touch framework all the time, all right, in all of these. So we're going to call it as basic table view. And we won't do unit tests, and desktop's fine, and I'm going to change this to Swift 4.2 just because and we're going to add a feature as well, an app. So what do we call it? Basic table view feature. Basic table view feature, everything's spelled correctly. Okay, that's done. We'll go to Swift 4.2 as well, and iOS 9, iOS 9 again, and let's go iPhone 6. It's all good. And let's get it going. Once it's going, we can add my folders that I like to add. Classes. Whoops, wrong one. Assets. Okay, let's create the view controller first. So we're going to call it basic. Whoops, not basic. Basic table view controller. All right, and we're going to use a UI view controller. We're not using table view controller. And always open. And this is public. Remove this, and what we are going to need is an maybe outlets, and that does that there. And okay, so I'm guessing that's building now. And we can come here and say delegate equals self and table view data source equals self. Now that's that done, and I always do it this way. So we're basic table view, and I do this and I copy this. And then I change this to data source, and then I just implement these first of all, and we're going to say table view DQ for, I'm going to say cell. We'll update that in a minute, and cell. And we'll say this index path row, number of, we'll say 1, and number of rows in cells, say items.count. Don't have items.count yet, but we'll make items, and it's going to be for the time being we're going to have type alias of cell type, or no, cell item, and it's going to be, at the moment it's going to be in any, right, and that's going to come in here. And we're also then going to do function gets, and we've got index, and this is then also going to give cell item, and we need a lazy one, and we're going to do q and this, then we make a dispatch queue. You'll see why I'm doing this later. And so this is then sync queue. Now we have a queue, we say queue sync return items, and in this situation we're going to say that it's with a row like this, and then we're going to say number of items as well, and we're going to say once again queue sync return items dot counts, and we come down here and then we say here, and an item here as well is then so like this. And also what I like to do is cell, and what you do is you copy this here and you paste that in there, and then you have item, cell item, and then you take this and you place that in there, and then you write and then you can remove this because you've got the item already. And yeah, so now you have the item in there already, okay, which is nice and easy. So we've got our items which need to be instantiated or created, initialized, and we've got our queue, we've got our it's already internal anyway, we've got our getter for our items, and we've got a number of items as well which we're going to do internal, and we've got our table view, and we're doing everything that we needed to do so far. So there are the heights. You can say estimated height for row is then UITableView auto dimension here, and also then height for here also go auto dimension. So you've taken care of all of the basics, right? And if you want to say did select, you can say did select, but I wouldn't do that at this point. All right, so now we need our storyboard quickly, and it's called basic table view. Once that's ready, then we get a controller in here, and like I said, we're not using table view controllers. So we want a table view, and that gets dumped into there. Come here, remove that like that, and then we want to add what's in here, and it's going to be the initial view controller as well. So that's already done. We can add this. Whoops, no. Come on, David. We can add that together there. So we've got everything's done now. Yeah, now we want to know that basic table view is embedded into our thingy bob here, and then change this to be legacy build. Next, we want to create, I like to do it all the time, is an instance method like this, and this then says it extends this here, and we create a static var and storyboard, and we return this with a storyboard, and it's called basic table view, and then the bundle is this here, and then we say self, and then we say static function instance, and this returns an optional, and we say VC, and say storyboard, instantiate initial view controller as basic, and then we return VC, right? And here add any dependencies in the instance method as parameters, yeah? So now we've got that, and then we do we want a function in navigation controller, and then we do nav equals this, and get self, return this, and that there, and do any styling here. So now we have that done. We've got the TableView controller done. We can come to our feature and we can import it now. Basic TableView, that's what it was called. Failed. What did failed? Oh, maybe because we need to build it first. What's wrong with this? There's always something wrong. Function. Oh yeah, sorry, my mistake. Your faults. Overriding it. Yes, here. What did I do wrong here? Of course, yeah. And this now should work, and we should now be able to build our feature and come here, and we can remove this because I don't need it right now, and then we can say window, that's working, root view controller equals basic here, instance in here, on window once again, oops, and make here visible, and we're good. And we should get a table view now once it loads, and we get a table view, as you can see. And if you watch more of my videos that I'm going to make, I'm always going to do this, and it's just to stop any rubbish being outputted, like all this rubbish being outputted, and now it doesn't happen anymore. And so it's there. Okay, so next thing is to add data. You would think that I would add it here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to add another file, and I'm going to say basic table view data source protocol, and this is then going to be public protocol, and I'm going to copy it again here, and this is then, we're going to come here and we're going to make this type alias, right, and this is going to say load items, and it's going to be escaping, if I can spell it. And oh no, sorry, we don't want that, we want completion, yes, and here is then items, so cell item, and this can be empty, right, it's no problem. And this data source is then going to come on the view controller, and it's going to be internal because I don't want people accessing it. And we're going to do it like this, and then we're going to copy this, come to our data source and plop it in there, and then say data source equals data source. All right. So now means that our table view feature will break, which is what we want, and we'll then say app delegate basic table here, and then load items, and we're going to have an array of numbers, okay, and data source is equal to self. So now we should only get one item being shown in our table view. Oh no, we won't actually, because we haven't loaded it yet. So now in our view.did_load, we come here and we can say load items, and here items, and just to make sure that it's getting called on the main thread, we're going to say items equals items, right? Now in this situation what we should do is we should say queue sync. It's not what we should do, we are going to do it, and we're going to add the items using the queue, and this means that you can only access it, well, everyone's got to wait for it. The reading has got to wait for the writing, the writing's got to wait for the reading, so it's going to be a bit better this time. So we come to our view controller again, and it didn't work because it didn't work. Let me see. Okay, it did send one item. Okay, all right, let's continue then. Let's have a look. Why? Number of items. Oh yeah, of course. And we need to reload the data as well, because we've got new items. Because this is done asynchronously, the table view would have been reloaded already, so we've got to reload it again, and this time we stop here, and if I can get this off, yeah, and we get this exception, whatever's going on here. And what have I done wrong here? Table view reload, something's not liking that, so we'll come again, do it again. Let's run it again. Yeah, sometimes Xcode is lovely to tell you exactly what's not happening, and this, for example, doesn't like it because possibly, well, it should be fine on here, but because we know that the data source is not running it on a background thread, we'll try it again. Okay, let's try and think what this could be. I'll put a breakpoint here and see whether accessing the table view, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it. But these are things that you come across. Well, the table view is definitely there, and why this doesn't like it, I really don't know. Okay, I think I now know why. Because It's not liking this, I guess. It's not telling us why, but I'm guessing this is why it is. We'll run it again. There it is. Okay, so that's what the problem was, is because I hadn't added the cell to the table. Okay, so but this is Xcode for you. All right, sometimes it just tells you nothing, so you have to kind of have some experience from it. And anyway, there we go. Okay, so now we've got the items. So if we come back to our app delegate and we add two here, we'll now see two items. Oh shit. And the advantage of using type alias is that it's completely generic. You could add a generic constraint here, but we don't need that, right? We've got it, and we know that we can change this cell type at any time we want in this one project, and it will still work. Right now, all we're interested in is essentially just displaying the cells that we want to have. All right, now let's create a, in my opinion, the quickest way to do this, to create a custom cell, is to create a Cocoa Touch class and come here and we'll say basic cell, and then come here, TableView cell, and if we say basic TableView, and also create a zip file, right? Do this, it will do all of the linking for you, no problem. And then all you got to do is move your zip file to your assets folder when you're going to move. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, and now when we come in here, we see that it's all been nicely linked up together for us, right? Which is pretty cool. And in here we can then, not that we really have to, we can create a label. Let's do it again, shall we? Because it's not wanting to do it. Create a label, and here we'll center it, and we'll also do this, and let's just put leading space, we'll put like 20 on it, and then we can actually get rid of these. Doesn't matter. Okay, and then link it with our cell. So I don't know, item label. That works. Okay, tricks of how to do this quickly. If I just get rid of this selected, because we don't really care about having it. And what we want to do is, I want to say reuse identifier, right? And I don't want it to be like this. I want it to be static again. And this is then going to be, for me, is then going to be string describing, and you can just put self here, it's fine. And then what we're going to do as well is we're then going to have nib file, right? UI nib, and do this and return. Actually, first, before we do this, you'll see why I'm doing this in a second. And then we will say bundle, and this is then for this here. So you need UI nib. Nib name is then reuse identifier, and bundle is bundle as well. Right, so now we've got the nib and we've got the bundle, everything that we need. Okay, and we can create it. Whoops, I didn't want to do it. Create it open as well, and we're all happy, right? And before you forget to do it, it's always good practice to make a prepare for reuse and reset all all your items back to 0 again, or the default values, right? Once you do it, and once you've got this ready, then come to your TableView controller, and you need to add this to your TableView, okay? And you can do this by register nib, and there you just say, you get your cell, and you can say nib, and then do this once again, and then say reuse identifier. And here you can then say, well, it's a basic cell and reuse identifier. And once you've done that, you've then got to do it like this, right? And we don't want to use this anymore. We want to use item label text instead. All right, so let's just say it's item and so on, and try this again. Now we should have essentially the same looking table view, but with our custom cell now. There we go. Okay, so you see they're different now in size. So that's how you create your custom cell and go from there. Now, if you want to have the height is then dynamic, well, you've got this already, so you can paste a whole bunch of text in there, and it will all be different sizes, no problem. All right. So this is essentially it. This is the first step of creating a table view with a TableView controller and so on, with a data source, where essentially you can inject all of your items externally from a web source, right, from an API and so on. I hope you've learned something from this. This wasn't supposed to be like long. It was supposed to be just to show you how I do it, right? And if you've got any questions, then please write any questions in the comments and so on. If there's any areas that you want me to extend upon, then once again, write any comments. Like, dislike, subscribe, but please give me feedback, right? This is the most important thing for me, is giving me feedback, because if I don't receive your feedback, then I can't enhance myself or enhance my videos, and I'm not helping you otherwise, you know. My whole aim of doing these videos is to help you. Okay, that's it. I'm David Thorne. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a nice evening. Goodbye.